Episode 10 of Dexter Resurrection is almost here, and the trailer already gives us chills. Secrets are about to explode, loyalties will be tested, and Dexter might finally face the consequences he has avoided for so long. But what exactly is waiting for him in this finale? Let's break it down scene by scene and uncover the shocking details hidden in every second of the trailer. The story leading into Episode 10 has been intense, building tension in every scene. In Episode 9, Dexter found himself walking on a razor's edge. The episode opened with him trying to maintain his double life while keeping Harrison away from the darkness that has always surrounded him. We saw Dexter struggling not only with his old habits, but also with the emotional weight of his past choices. Every decision he made in this episode felt heavier because the stakes were higher than ever. Harrison's arc reached a critical point as well. He is no longer just a passive observer of his father's life. He is slowly stepping into his own identity, questioning the morality of the world around him. In Episode 9, there were tense interactions between father and son, showing a mix of admiration, fear, and confusion. Harrison is starting to mirror Dexter in some ways, and this creates an undercurrent of tension, leaving viewers wondering if the next generation will repeat the same mistakes. Meanwhile, the police investigation, it's been tightening around Dexter. Episode 9 made it clear that law enforcement is closing in, with subtle hints of clues being uncovered. Scenes involving the Miami Police Department revealed new evidence, which may lead to Dexter's exposure. The episode balanced the suspense of Dexter hiding in plain sight with small cracks appearing in his carefully constructed life. Every glance, every phone call, and every sudden visit from old allies or enemies served to remind viewers that Dexter is constantly on borrowed time. Episode 9 also highlighted the psychological side of Dexter's journey. We saw flashbacks and inner dialogues, emphasizing his conflict between his need for control and his desire to protect those he loves. The moral struggle is central here, as Dexter is faced with choices that could define not just his life, but the future of Harrison and the people around him. Key moments included Dexter hesitating before taking action, signaling that the perfect composure viewers are used to is slowly eroding under pressure. Another critical aspect of Episode 9 was the presence of past characters, appearing in brief, but meaningful ways. Their appearances remind Dexter and the audience that his past is never far behind. These cameos were more than fan service. They set the stage for potential alliances or betrayals in the finale. Every look and line of dialogue seemed to carry double meanings, hinting at the conflicts and surprises we might see in Episode 10. The climax of Episode 9 ended on a suspenseful note. Dexter is caught between escaping his current predicament and confronting the threats closing in on him. The tension builds to a point where viewers are left on the edge of their seats, questioning who will survive, who will fall, and whether Dexter can finally break free from the cycle of his past. Harrison's growing awareness and the police tightening their net add layers of complexity, making the finale not just a battle of physical survival, but a test of moral strength and cunning. Visually, Episode 9 used dark tones, shadows, and contrasting light to emphasize Dexter's inner turmoil and the looming danger. Every frame in the final scenes was carefully crafted to build suspense, foreshadowing the chaos of Episode 10. Music and sound design added to the tension with sharp, sudden notes that matched the unpredictability of Dexter's world. Even the pacing was intentional, alternating between slow, reflective moments and sudden bursts of action to keep viewers engaged and anxious for what's next. Episode 9 also planted seeds for character evolution. Allies who once seemed trustworthy showed hints of deception or hidden agendas, creating an environment where no one can be fully trusted. Dexter's relationships are strained, alliances are fragile, and betrayal feels imminent. These dynamics are crucial for understanding the stakes in Episode 10. The trailer already hints at these tensions coming to a head, and the seeds planted in Episode 9 make the potential outcomes unpredictable and thrilling. Finally, Episode 9 reinforced the theme of consequences. Dexter's actions, both past and present, have set off a chain reaction that cannot be easily stopped. The balance between his desire for control and the chaotic forces surrounding him is delicate, and the trailer for episode 10 suggests that balance will be shattered. As the screen faded to black in the previous episode, viewers were left with a sense of foreboding, knowing that the next episode would push Dexter to his limits emotionally, mentally, and physically. In summary, episode 9 perfectly set the stage. For the finale, Dexter's struggles with morality, family, and survival have been intensified. Harrison's evolution adds a new layer of tension. The police investigation is closing in, and past relationships hint at betrayal. The episode ended with suspense, leaving fans desperate to see how Dexter will navigate the final challenges. And the trailer for episode 10 promises to answer those questions, but in a way that will shock and thrill viewers like never before. Trailer for episode 10 opens with a striking, almost cinematic shot that immediately sets the tone for the finale. Dark clouds hang low over Miami, reflecting the tension and chaos that is about to unfold. The first scene shows Dexter walking alone down an empty street at night, his silhouette sharp against the dim streetlights. The camera lingers on his face, revealing the subtle strain in his eyes. He looks older, more weary, almost haunted by the events of the previous episodes. From the very first second, the trailer establishes a sense of danger and foreboding, signaling that nothing in this finale will be simple or predictable in these opening moments. The trailer focuses heavily on Dexter's body language. His movements are cautious, almost mechanical, suggesting that he is aware of the mounting threats around him. The trailer cleverly uses close-up shots of his hands, fingers twitching as if anticipating the next move. Every glance over his shoulder hints at paranoia, the feeling that he is constantly being watched. This visual storytelling immediately pulls the viewer into Dexter's mental state, emphasizing that this episode will be as much about psychological tension as physical action as the trailer progresses. Flashes of Harrison appear in juxtaposition with Dexter. We see quick cuts of Harrison walking through the city alone, carrying an air of determination mixed with uncertainty. The trailer uses these cuts to subtly hint at the growing distance between father and son, both physically and emotionally. It raises questions for viewers. Is Harrison following Dexter's steps willingly? Or is he being dragged into a world he doesn't fully understand? These opening visuals are important because they set up one of the key tensions of the finale: the dynamic between Dexter and Harrison, and the possibility that Harrison may either emulate or oppose his father. The music in the opening of the trailer is particularly effective. A slow, rhythmic beat underscores the tension, punctuated by sudden high notes that accompany brief flashes of danger, a police car speeding, a shadowy figure lurking in an alley, or Dexter glancing nervously toward an unknown threat. Audio cues heighten the sense of suspense and urgency, preparing the viewer for a high-stakes finale where timing and decision-making will be everything. One of the most striking elements of the trailer's opening is its use of light and shadow. Dexter often appears partially in darkness, with only parts of his face illuminated. This is more than stylistic. It visually represents the duality of his character, the struggle between his desire to protect those he loves and the darker impulses that have always defined him. The trailer subtly uses this lighting technique to suggest that Dexter's secrets are beginning to surface, and that his carefully controlled life may soon be exposed to the consequences he's long tried to avoid. The trailer also teases quick flashes of locations that will play a major role in episode 10. Viewers catch glimpses of abandoned buildings, dimly lit apartments, and familiar Miami streets that have been the backdrop for Dexter's previous encounters. These locations are more than scenery. They hint at plot points and conflicts, from tense confrontations to critical investigations. The way the trailer cuts between these settings conveys urgency and builds anticipation, giving viewers a sense that multiple storylines are converging in this finale. Subtle visual clues in the trailer's opening scenes also hint at the presence of antagonists or rival threats. A shadowy figure appears briefly behind Dexter, blurred but menacing, suggesting that he is being hunted or observed. The quick cuts between Dexter and this figure create a feeling of suspense, making the audience question whether Dexter can outsmart this new threat. This opening sequence cleverly plants seeds of mystery, encouraging viewers to analyze every second for hidden hints about the episode's major conflicts. Another important element is the brief, but impactful use of Dexter's internal monologue in the trailer. We hear snippets of his thoughts overlaid on the visuals, reminding viewers of his analytical, strategic mind. Lines like, "I've controlled my life this long, but for how much longer?" emphasize the tension between Dexter's careful planning and the unpredictable forces closing in on him. These lines, combined with the trailer's visuals, create a sense of impending danger and set the stage for a finale where every decision counts. The trailer's opening also highlights Dexter's iconic tools and symbols, the knives, the precise movements, the careful attention to detail, reminding viewers of the methodical way he operates. Even in moments of tension, the trailer emphasizes his calculated nature, reinforcing the idea that this episode will be a test of his skills, intelligence, and ability to stay one step ahead of his enemies. These details are important because they reassure fans that, despite the mounting danger, Dexter's signature precision will remain central to the story. Finally, the opening of the trailer ends with a sudden visual jolt, a close-up of Dexter's eyes widening, a gunshot echoing in the distance, or a shadowy figure disappearing around a corner. This abrupt ending of the trailer's opening sequence serves as a hook for viewers, leaving them anxious to see what comes next. It perfectly sets up the rest of the trailer, promising action, suspense, and shocking reveals in Episode 10. In summary, the trailer's opening sequence is carefully designed to build tension, hint at character conflicts, and set the stage for the finale. Dexter's mental state, his relationship with Harrison, the looming threats, and the dark, suspenseful atmosphere all come together to create an unforgettable start. By the end of these first scenes, viewers are already on edge, anticipating the twists, betrayals, and shocking confrontations that Episode 10 will deliver. The trailer for Episode 10 immediately reminds viewers that Deborah's presence is never far from Dexter, even years after her death. Right in the opening sequences, we see brief but striking glimpses of her, sometimes as a reflection in a mirror, sometimes in a shadowed hallway, and occasionally as a fleeting voiceover. These moments are subtle but emotionally charged, reminding viewers that Deborah continues to haunt Dexter, both as a memory and as his moral compass. The trailer uses these appearances sparingly, but each one carries immense weight. Highlighting the internal struggle that Dexter faces in the finale, Deborah's influence in this episode is multi-layered. On one hand, she appears as a comforting figure, offering guidance and occasional reassurance. Her voiceover lines in the trailer hint at her enduring care for Dexter and her desire to steer him toward choices that prevent tragedy. On the other hand, the trailer cleverly shows her as a source of guilt and tension, a reminder of the mistakes of the past that Dexter cannot escape. This duality mirrors Dexter's own mental state. He's torn between his instincts as a killer and his longing to protect Harrison and the few people he still loves. The trailer visually portrays Deborah in ways that emphasize Dexter's emotional vulnerability. In one particularly haunting shot, Dexter pauses in an abandoned building, and the faint outline of Deborah appears behind him. He doesn't react outwardly, but the camera lingers on his expression, capturing the mix of longing, sorrow, and unease. These moments are designed to make viewers feel the weight of Dexter's past choices and to understand that, even in the finale, Deborah's presence will shape his decisions in profound ways. In addition, the trailer hints that Deborah's influence could play a pivotal role in the climax. Her guidance may steer Dexter away from certain violent choices, or push him toward confrontations he would otherwise avoid. The subtle voiceovers paired with her ethereal appearances suggest that she might even act as a conscience that challenges Dexter at critical moments. This raises questions for viewers. Will Deborah's lingering presence be a source of strength, or will it complicate Dexter's ability to act decisively? The father-son dynamic is also subtly connected to Deborah's appearances. In some trailer scenes, Dexter glances at Harrison after a brief vision of Deborah, as if considering the lessons and warnings she might impart to his son. This adds emotional complexity. Deborah, though gone, continues to influence the next generation, shaping Harrison's understanding of morality and the darkness surrounding his family. The trailer uses these moments to remind viewers that the struggle between light and dark is not just Dexter's, it's a legacy that Harrison is now part of. The trailer also plays with timing and sound to enhance Deborah's influence. Sudden silences coincide with her appearances, creating a momentary pause that draws attention to her and Dexter's reaction. This technique makes viewers acutely aware that these scenes are significant, signaling that Deborah's presence will affect critical decisions and heighten the emotional stakes of the finale. Every shot involving her feels deliberate, designed to remind the audience that Dexter's past is never fully behind him, that memory and conscience are powerful forces in shaping his actions. Interestingly, the trailer suggests that Deborah may act as a mirror for Dexter, reflecting his fears and desires. In one shot, her reflection appears in a broken window, fragmented, symbolizing the fractured state of Dexter's psyche. This imagery is powerful. It implies that Dexter's internal conflict will reach its peak in episode 10, as he struggles to reconcile who he is with who he wants to be. The trailer uses these symbolic moments to hint at the deeper psychological battles that will define the finale. Moreover, Deborah's influence in the trailer highlights the ongoing theme of redemption. Even in spectral form, she represents the moral compass Dexter often ignores but cannot fully escape. Her presence reminds viewers that every choice carries consequences, and that the ghosts of the past, literal or figurative, will always play a role in shaping Dexter's path. The trailer makes it clear that episode 10 is not just about external threats. It's about facing the unresolved emotions and moral dilemmas that have haunted Dexter for years. Finally, the trailer balances these emotional moments with suspense. Deborah's appearances are brief, fleeting, and often juxtaposed with hints of danger, police lights, shadowy figures, or sudden movement. This combination ensures that viewers feel the tension of both the psychological and physical threats surrounding Dexter. It's a clever narrative technique that keeps the audience engaged, reminding them that in episode 10, every choice is fraught with risk, and every memory has power. In summary, Deborah's presence in the episode 10 trailer serves multiple purposes. She is a source of guidance, guilt, and moral reflection. Her influence shapes Dexter's decisions, heightens emotional stakes, and reinforces the themes of legacy and redemption. By carefully balancing her ethereal appearances with the unfolding action, trailer ensures that viewers understand the profound role Deborah will continue to play. Even as Dexter faces the most dangerous and consequential moments of his life, the trailer for episode 10 puts Harrison in the spotlight more than ever, signaling that the finale isn't just about Dexter. It's about the next generation confronting the consequences of his life. From the opening shots, we see Harrison navigating Miami alone, walking through streets that feel both familiar and dangerous. The camera lingers on his expression, a mix of determination, fear, and confusion. It's clear that Harrison is no longer just a passive observer. He is beginning to understand the darkness that runs in his family. The trailer teases the possibility that he might be stepping into a path similar to Dexter's. In several key moments, the trailer shows Harrison handling situations with a calmness that mirrors Dexter's early methods, but there's also a sense of hesitation. He studies people, observes their behavior, and seems to weigh his choices carefully. These scenes suggest that Harrison is learning not only about survival, but about control, morality, and consequence. Viewers are left questioning whether Harrison will ultimately follow in his father's footsteps or forge his own path. The trailer uses quick cuts of him watching shadows, glancing at knives, or pausing before entering tense situations to highlight this internal struggle. The dynamic between Harrison and Dexter is particularly tense in the trailer. In one shot, the camera shows Dexter watching Harrison from a distance, concern and worry etched across his face. The father-son connection is complicated. Dexter wants to protect Harrison from the darkness, but the trailer hints that Harrison may be too curious or too driven to avoid it. These interactions are brief, almost subliminal, yet they pack an emotional punch. They set up one of the central conflicts of episode 10. Will Harrison embrace his father's instincts or reject them entirely? The trailer also teases a moment of confrontation between Harrison and an unknown threat, possibly a new antagonist or someone connected to Dexter's past. Harrison is shown poised, ready to defend himself, suggesting that he has already begun to adapt to the dangerous world his father inhabits. The tension in these scenes is palpable. Viewers can feel that Harrison's actions could have life or death consequences, not just for him, but for Dexter and anyone around them. The trailer uses these moments to raise the stakes, signaling that Harrison's choices will play a critical role in the finale.